Hi guys, welcome to, it's actually now part 3 of the lunar pyjamas since we had a division of the Sewalong yesterday into 2 parts through no fault of my own, just the wretched camera. So yeah, here we are for really the second part today. I'm just gonna, Let's see if I can put it up higher. Bear with, guys, bear with. Hi, Lorianne. Oh, first on today, Lorianne. Morning. How was your Thanksgiving? How was everyone's Thanksgiving over in the US? An afternoon, Charlie. Hope you had a nice day despite probably a reduced Thanksgiving. Hello, Holly. Hi, Mary. Hello. Hi there. I've been a bit naughty today. I'm not wearing a handmade thing. I actually have got handmade things underneath. A wonder in the evening. Oh, wonderful. Well, that was great, Lorianne. Perfect way to spend it watching that. Hello. Yeah, I was just saying that I'm just pulling my tights up, pulling my skirt down. I've not got anything handmade on, which is naughty, but actually I do. I've got underneath, I've got an Edie top. And then here, if you watch what I was wearing, this jersey skirt, I've got all my layers. I need to sort my layers out, don't I? I've got my tops. This is that jersey maxi skirt. You can't really see it, but that I was talking about on Instagram. Let me stand up. No, it's not really giving you a great view, is it? Anyway, the general consensus from that was that you like it. I'm really not selling it like this, but so yes, so what we're thinking of doing is maybe some sort of special event with it, and you get the pattern and some virtual event, so watch this space. We will be working on our new virtual events calendar in the next couple of weeks for January and all the changes and exciting things that are going to be coming, so yeah, keep watching our social media channels. Make sure you're signed up to our mailing list, oh, you've made we've got a newbie, just managed to make the live Sewalong. Welcome, I hope you enjoyed the live experience. Do chat along with everyone else. It's a very friendly bunch on here. Always nice to know if we've got any newbies watching along with us. So as I always say, we've got Rosie answering your questions. If you have any, I will try and answer them, but usually I can't see them at the same time. Thanks, Noella, for welcoming Jemima, and Rosie as well. See, it's a friendly bunch, guys. And we are making our lunar pyjamas, which I'm not wearing today. I was wearing them yesterday, but I didn't change into them today for this, but they are hanging here. So if we need to reference what they're looking like, or what part of it I'm doing, then we can do that. I'm making them out of viscose jersey as a bit of a guinea pig to see what they work like. I think they're going to be gorgeous. And this is where we got up to. So we basically sewed up the bodice at the shoulder seams and also at the side seams. And we also stayed the neckline. Then we made the ties, and I did one with you and one without you. And I've gone ahead and pressed it so that the seam is nicely on the edge and they're lovely and flat. So we're going to actually stitch those on first. That's the first thing we're going to be doing. Sorry, the angle I've got, I'm losing the top of my head. Oh, wonderful, Fiona. Well, yeah, I think they'll be super comfy like this. Now, I need to make sure I get this right. It's one of those lefty-righty things, and it's always, for me, a bit of a challenge to work out which way is right side. So I'm looking at the instructions here, guys, just to make sure I get it right. So we are going to pin the longer tie with the right hand side of that front edge. Okay, so that's the right hand side when it's worn. If you think about it, it'll be the opposite when you're looking at it. So if you've got it laid out like this facing you, then the right hand side will be on your left. So we need to put the tie on here, and we've got to put it in line with the circles, which I don't have marked on here, so I just need to get the pattern back and reference where those are. Here we go. So, let's lay that on. I think instead of marking them with chalk, because I'm literally about to do it, I'm just going to mark them with pins. Just pop a pin in where they are, so that's to get that position. Okay. But the circles, guys, I should say on the pattern are there. So I need to work out which is my longest strap, or rather tie. That's going on first. It's that one. And then we're going to take the raw end, the raw edge here, and that raw edge is going to line up with the raw edge on the right hand side here, and the seam needs to be facing down. Okay, and then I'm going to pop a pin in, the seam facing down towards the hem, there and there. So I've basically pinned it so that it's sitting perpendicular like that. Oh, we've got some Black Friday chat. Yes, indeed. Black Friday today, guys. Got some really good bargains for you all. We have got 30% off all of our patterns and our ebooks. And I think that's it for that bit. Then we've got 20% off some of our fabrics. And I think have we got 20% off online classes as well? That individually priced online classes, Rosie. Rosie's got all the deals. I'm sure she'll let you know. But yeah, really good deals to be had. Right, now, so that's there. Then, getting proper confused. Oh, thanks, Kim. I think this was Zara last year. I need to work out which one it's going on the inside. So I'm just going to refer to the instructions. Okay. And repeat with the shorty. Yes. So that's just on this side here. I just wanted to check. I was suddenly thinking, hang on a second, it's not in the inside, but of course it's not. So we're just popping that on the left. I have to get my pattern back out and mark where those circles are again. Okay. Right. I'm now going to pop pins in to hold that down. Again, making sure the seam is going down towards the hem. Okay, those are done. So we now need to stitch them in place. Now I want to just check the seam allowance that we're going to be stitching them in place with. 1 centimetre. We're just machine tacking them, or basting, whichever term you prefer to use. We're just going to machine tack them in. So we're going to put a nice long stitch on the machine and just keep that within 1 centimetre seam allowance, which will be the seam allowance for the facing. So there we go. When you machine tack something in, you don't need to reverse. You can. It's just a sort of temporary stitch just to hold something in place. Usually when you're going to sandwich it with something else. It's usually what we do. There we go. Take that pin out and do this side. There we go. So we now have ties on. So now what we need to do is put the facing on. So I'm going to put that to one side because I need to interface my facing, because if you remember yesterday I was saying that I'm interfacing mine because it is all a viscose jersey. So I'm going to put some interfacing on. Now ideally you want to use interfacing that is stretchy, like stretch interfacing, which you can get, but we haven't got any of that in stock at the shop. So I don't know if we've ever sold it actually. I think we maybe once did, I'm not sure. But anyway, I haven't got that, so I'm just going to use our regular soft Vilene interfacing, which is lovely and soft and won't be uncomfortable to have on a pair of pyjamas. So yeah, we'll do that together, guys. We can have a natter whilst I'm doing that. Don't think I can make too many boo-boos. Oh gosh, Oh, it's fine. Whilst I'm ironing. Okay. Here we go, Z's. Actually quite hot. I have to take my nice jumper off. I don't know what I don't know why I'm suddenly really warm. I've been sitting in this position all morning doing my work, and suddenly I think it's because I'm talking. I'm generating heat talking to you guys. Right, so making sure I've got the wrong side facing up. And then I'm going to take the rough side of the interfacing. I'm going to pop that there. Lay that over. And it's kind of a little bit bigger, the interfacing, but I'm not going to worry too much about that because I can just trim it off once it's fused. Now, I need to make sure this isn't too hot. Turn my steam off. I'm not doing that business of wrapping it around my head again like I did yesterday. I don't think I was all there yesterday. I think I maybe like, the pattern is a woven pattern, Claire, yeah. Yeah, I think I was just so tired yesterday. I'm still feeling quite tired today, but maybe not as giddy as I was. I was very giddy, wasn't I? Look, guys, you can see how much it's stretched. Oh dear, what are we going to do? I'm going to have to see if I can stretch the interfacing a little bit. So I can't really ease in with interfacing. But yeah, we'll have to stretch the interfacing and then ease the combination of the facing and the interfacing in when we're putting it on the neckline. And that's why we did the staying of the neckline, because we know that that would stretch. So I managed to almost get it on. I've got a little bit of a gap there, but it doesn't really matter. I'm getting a bit of a wrinkle there, actually. I'll get rid of that. Okay. Okay, that's good. Next. Piece. There we go. So guys, next week on the Sewalong sketch, we were going to do something on Monday, but we're now not, just because we're doing some other things. We've added the extra bits in that week. So Tuesday, we're doing a dog coat, fun times, starting to do all the fun little Christmassy projects now. So we're making a Poppy dog coat from the Poppy and Dad's Jazz range. Then on Wednesday, we've got our big sew in the evening. If you don't know what that is, it's a new type of event that we're launching. So basically it's a ticketed event, it's £5 and it's all going to be on Zoom, and all the team will be online. I know Rosie's been checking out cameras and stuff today, and we'll all be making a Christmas garland whilst having a bit of mulled wine, hopefully, maybe a few chockies from the recipe that you get. So you get sent 2 recipes along with it when you sign up. And yeah, doing some sewing and chatting and generally feeling merry, and also wearing our Christmassy outfits. And then on the Saturday at 2 o'clock, we will be, good Holly. Well, on the Saturday, I'm going to be doing the big selfless sew, which is the charity event that we're doing. So making the drawstring bags, which I talked about yesterday. That's at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And yeah, we put that in our letter now. So that's all the details for that has now been announced. So yeah, that'll just be on YouTube. You don't need to buy a ticket to that. It'll just be just like this, same thing. Oh no, what has happened here? We've got some creases. Let me just get those out before we want those to be in. So yeah, bit different next week, the schedule. It's not the usual kind of pattern of days. But yes, and then I don't know what the week after that is. Not quite sure, but yeah. There'll be stuff going on, for sure. I know we've got stuff coming on all the way up to Christmas. Oh, look, Rosie's put up a link to the Big Selfless Sew. That's great. Thanks, Rosie. Right, we've got our facing pieces ready now, but I need to get my little back neck facing piece. This actually, I haven't been given some interfacing for this piece. And I haven't got any here, I don't think. So I'm just going to have to go ahead and pop this on without being interfaced. Should be a bit of a kind of, should be fine, but I mean, obviously it's more important that this is stable than the back anyway. So I guess we'll just have to make that work, but probably would have interfaced that. I've now got to make sure I get this right, 'cause that is it. So the longer, thinner bit, then we're going down to there. I need to get my scissors and just trim off this extra interfacing, because it's peeking out. And we don't want it peeking out. Okay, that's that side. And this. Oopsies. Oh, guys, I'm missing out on some chat here. Oh, people are talking about what they're sewing. Maybe that's it, what they're going to be making. Festive sewing outfits. Turn this off. Sorry, guys. As I would always say, talk amongst yourselves. Is anyone sewing along at the moment to this? Or is anyone sewing something else? Ta-da. Oh, currently working. Oh, Charlie. Oh, well. Hopefully it's brightening your work a little. Shh, don't tell your boss you're watching this. Shh. Ooh. Okay, that'll do. Right. So, slightly wider is at the bottom, and then the longer section of it is the longer section is the neckline bit. So I'm going to cross them over like that. You can't really see what I've done there, but I've crossed them over. And now I'm going to place this, the little back, right sides together with these bits here. Okay. So let's pop a pin in here. And then there as well. Again, right sides together Oh, my tummy's rumbling, guys. Hungry. Got no food in the house either. To pop out to the shops after this to go get some lunch. Okay, we're doing it like this. Oops. Okay, so that's essentially joining it here. So this is now going to be stitched with 1.5 centimetres. Yeah, 5/8 of an inch. And then we're going to press those seams open. What has happened to my pedal? Come on, little one. Turn around. Hoopla. Okay. So, one down there. Oh, I've still got it on a long stitch length. I need to put it back on zigzag. So back to the zigzag. So that's stitch width around 1, 1.5 and stitch length 2. You need to put that on. Now that's just because I'm doing the jersey. If you're doing woven, you can just do a straight stitch. And now we're doing the other side. Same. Okay. And then I'm going to press these open. Ooh, heather dress, saw that. Someone's making a heather dress. Are you trying to find out what Rosie's sewing? Is Rosie sewing a surprise? Is that, am I guessing that's what the chat is about? One day, I hope, I'll be the one chatting with you guys. And then I can be watching someone else. I wasn't able to watch Becca because obviously that's why I couldn't do it, because I had something else on. But yeah, I had to watch it afterwards. I'm tempting everyone with the thought of the December pattern. Oh, I thought that would be the other option. Oh yeah. There's going to be a lot of those made up in my wardrobe. Oh my goodness, yes. We really have thought about what sort of things people would like to be wearing at the moment, we think. And this would be a nice addition and an easy make. We know everyone doesn't have a lot of time in December, so it's definitely an easy make. But I'm not saying anything else, Rosie. If you've not been saying anything else, keep it stumm. Okay, so press those open. And then we're going to put this on. Now if you have got woven fabric, you'll need to overlock the outside edge of the facing, but I don't need to do that. So I'm just going to go straight on and pin it to around the neckline edge. Okay. And put it like that actually. I think it'd be easier to lay it out like that. So right sides together. Shoulder seams lining up, so you've got to make sure that the seams at the shoulders that we pressed open remain pressed open. So what I always do to ensure that is I put a pin on the raw edge there and a pin there as well. What just happened there? So we've got a notch here to line up, so I'm going to make sure that my notches are lined up first, and then I can see if I need to do any easing in. So easing in is basically if one of the sides of fabric has stretched a little bit and has ended up being longer, we need to ease that back in so that it's no longer as stretched. Is that where the other one was? It seemed to be a bit lost, that other one. I think it was around there. Another notch there. And then we've got a lot of threads here. I've obviously not been tidy tying off those threads. They're in the way. Let's get rid of these threads. And then we make sure we sandwich the tie. The tie is there. And then this is coming over like so. Now, there we go. So the corner, the sort of point there, it kind of comes down at an angle and then it goes straight down. So it's like this and then it goes down. Then we've got a little bit of an angle. Little bit of an angle there. I'm just going to make sure I put 2 pins in where the straps are, so really make sure that's proper secure. And then coming down here. Pin in there. Another pin in there. So now I can just go back and fill my pins. That's what I'm going to do. What I want to do as well is probably when we do something like this, when you sew from the centre back, you go down on one side and down on the other side. That's what I want to do ideally. So I haven't got, I might have to change my pins to the other side so that they're flipped on the other side. So I'll sew this in 2 sections just to make sure we don't get dragging, so it's evenly stitched in the same direction on either side of it. Bum ba da dum bum bum. So just lining up my shoulder seams again. There we go. Then there's my little notchy notch. He's going to that little notchy notch. Like so. And then we've got that same issue that he's not really quite shown up there, but that I think is meant to be where that one is. And there. And the next notch, and then we've got to line up this shaping. We've got the same thing of all these little loose ends. I'm just going to trim those off. Trim the tails off. Like so. Okay. Yeah. No, I've not got that right. That is the right. It's quite hard sometimes up close, especially in jersey, to see the angle. There is the angle. That is correct. Oh, I'm so excited to finish these, I have to say. Normally, I spoke to my mum last night on the phone and she's like, Lisa, what do you want for Christmas? And I always usually say to Mum, actually, can you get me some pyjamas? I always really like pyjamas as a present because it's nice kind of, I always feel like a new pair of pyjamas is a bit of a luxury. You know, especially when you don't really generally buy clothes. I always just think that's really nice. I always get a nice pair of pyjamas from Mum and Dad for Christmas. But I was like, I don't need pyjamas, Mum. I've got 2 new sets, one in the making and one already done. And so she's getting me perfume instead, which I'm very excited about. I have to say, all my perfumes, so funny, isn't it? They all run out. I only wear Chanel. I'm a Chanel girl. Basically, it depends on what I'm doing. So I have Chanel Chance, where if I want to be quite a big businesswoman or confident kind of evening or something like that, then I'll wear Chance. If I'm wearing, for in-betweeny days, I wear Gabrielle. And if I'm at the weekend, or just a kind of light sort of scent, I'll wear Coco Mademoiselle. And yeah, my Coco Mademoiselle and my Chance have both run out. I don't know, it's not that I've been wearing Chance a lot recently. It's not really been a lockdown scent for me. Aww. Yeah, Coco Chanel. That's what Coco is named. That's who Coco's named after. I think sometimes people think she's named after Coco, as in like chocolate cocoa. Yeah. But no. Oh, Allure. Yeah, I like Allure as well. I'd have that too. I'd definitely have Allure. I guess I think I have to be like, I can't have the full Chanel selection. Got to hold back somewhere. But yeah, and you know what, I'm really, like, it sounds really bizarre, but I've always wanted to wear Chanel No. 5, but I generally do think it's a more mature scent, and I've always said to myself, when I'm 40, I am buying myself Chanel No. 5. Something to look forward to. Okay, right, I'm having to ease in the facing a bit here. It's stretched a little bit. So I don't know if this was the side that was already stretched when I put it on. I'm too young for No. 5. No. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else said that. Is 40 too young for No. 5? I don't know. Don't take that from me, Holly. I've been looking forward to it for years. I haven't been wishing away the years, but I feel like, I think it's, I sort of said that to myself when I was 25, and you know when you're younger you think 40 is like so old, so mature, and of course now as I'm coming up to 40, I'm like, I'm so young. 40 is the new 30, yes Tina. Oh, did you? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what these rules are. I don't think there's a rule that you can't wear No. 5 when you're my age. Oh, you wore it in your 20s, wow. Yeah, I think it's just now there's so many options, isn't there? Ah, yeah, I think my mum's got it. I need to remind myself of the scent. That's what I really miss, guys. How much do you enjoy, you know, when you go to the airport? I absolutely love getting to the airport just a little bit early, not too early in case there's a delay, but a little bit early, and going around duty free, looking at the makeup and the skincare and smelling the perfume and trying on sunglasses. Absolutely love that part of travelling. Definitely missed it. Right. Oh, I know what I need to do. Well, I can do this side. I'm going to do this side, going from the centre pack down, and then I'm going to have to move the pins onto the other side. So the seam allowance for the neckline is 1.5 centimetre. Best start of the holiday, absolutely. 3/8 of an inch, guys. 3/8 of the inch. 1 centimetre. Just, yeah, I'm just curving myself round there, and going a little bit here where I'm finding that I'm going to have to ease that in. So what I'm going to do, this sometimes happens, is you take the pins out and then the fabric moves along and moves along, and then suddenly you're left with a big bit that you need to ease in. So I'm just putting a load of pins in, like, and I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to sew over them. Just so I don't lose the easing that I create, the easing in. That one's not quite right. We're coming to the tie there. I've just gone over. Let's see where I am. No, we're not coming to the tie. We're coming to it here. Sorry. Where am I? Where am I? Oh my goodness, I'm getting a look. I've got a really big bit of easing now, guys. I'm going to have to get all the armies of pins out. There is definitely some stretchiness going on here. Interestingly, it's the top layer that's interfaced. I guess that had stretched first, but because it's really the bottom layer is the layer that has been stabilised by the Vilene tape. It won't stretch, which is great. We don't want it to stretch, but it does mean that I'm a right pain trying to ease this in as I go. Bye gummy gum gum. Okay guys, we've gone past the sandwiched bit, the tie, just heading to the end now. How are we doing for time? Oh, got like 20 minutes left, okay. Well, that's done. You can see, I'm hoping that'll press out, but you can see where you've got quite a bit of, I haven't got any pleats stitched in, but the seam allowance is all kind of wobbly from where I've eased it in. But once you get on the iron, that'll press out. So that's great. So now I'm just going to put my pins in the other way around. I'm going to get my glasses as well, guys. Oh, what have I been doing with that there the whole time? Put that back down. Could have been vicious. I'm just going to get my glasses. My eyes definitely are tired. Oof. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Switching them around. So this is just so I can sew it in the same direction. I have to say, I just noticed that I don't look as washed out as I was looking earlier. To say, the power of lipstick. This lipstick's great. It's, what's it called? Miranda May. It's Charlotte Tilbury Miranda May. And it's my kind of quick put on lipstick. I haven't got any on lipstick. You can just whack it on because it's not as strong as the reds that I wear. It's also quite a nice one to wear for kind of more low-key day. But it's great. It's just suddenly like made me look a lot healthier than I feel. Oh, I do love lipstick. Just the best thing. If I was on Desert Island Discs, the Radio 4 programme, lipstick would be my luxury. Mind you, who would see me? Just in case someone came to rescue me, I'd have lipstick. Okay. So I'm just starting where I was. Oh, wait a second, yeah. Overlapping a little and then carrying on down this side in the same way. Making sure your seam allowances stay pressed open. You might need to put the needle in, tuck under the fabric, under the presser foot, and then continue round. No, Poppy. Poppy's in a very barky mood. It does, doesn't it, Kim? Bit of makeup, bit of lipstick. You need the two. Yeah, Poppy's been barking all morning. My poor neighbours. Oh my goodness. You're putting your makeup on for your day. Oh. Oh. 5:30 in the morning. Will it last, Lorianne? That's the thing. To have a reapplication later on. Yeah, I feel so sorry for my neighbours. Because Poppy has been barking a lot, and of course so many people are working from home. Got Poppy's bark peppering their day. Hardly nice. Hardly motivating, Poppy. I know, that's crazy, isn't it, Ollie? We put our face masks on. But also, what's been very important for me is I can't use this lipstick when I go out because it goes over on my face mask. So I've got those Maybelline stays for when I'm going out with lipstick on. To say, I'm certainly looking forward to going out one day and not worrying about that. In a few months to come, let's hope. Right, I'm getting the same here, but not as bad as I was. A little bit of naughtiness. A little bit of stretchy. Voila, we are done, guys. That is good. Let me trim those off and then we can press our facing inside. We do need to also do a little bit of fiddly arounding on the bottom of the facing, actually. I might just do that now and then do all the pressing. So basically that will then press into the inside and sit nice and crisp all along there. However, what we do, and look, nice ties now coming out of there. But what we do need to do is we need to finish this off at the bottom edge. So I think I'll just do that whilst we're doing this bit because we're not doing any understitching. Or are we? I know we are doing understitching. And then we probably want to understitch first. Okay, we won't do that. Let's do our understitching. Because then we'll do our hem. Have I got time? Yes, hopefully I have. Right, we've got to understitch along these. So I'm not going to do any ironing because I don't want to stretch it. But I'm just going to pull the seam allowance towards the facing and tuck it under. And I think for this I'm going to do it with a straight stitch, but a longer stitch length. A stitch length of around 3. And then I'm going to move my needle, oops, we weren't on that. Move my needle to the right, so I'm lined up here. I've got, oh, that's a bit too far over. I've lined up with the middle groove on the presser foot is on my seam. I've got my seam allowance going towards the facing. If I pull it back like that. And then I'm going to do it in the same way. I'm going to do one side and then the other side. So again, I'm not dragging anything. And then just keeping the facing pulled over to the side to make sure you're not getting any overhang where the seam is and it's sitting flat. We didn't get the sleeves put in, guys. I thought that, as always, I was far too overambitious thinking that would be possible. But I hope, I can definitely try it on though for you. I'm going to do my old trying on at the end. So you can see where we got up to. the bit on this side where there was a bit of easing, so it's not sitting quite flat. It's a little bit trickier. To flatten it out a bit, because I know the iron will do that, but I don't want to iron it before I've understitched, because I definitely will potentially stretch it. And I don't want that to happen, no, I do not. Going over now where the tie is, still making sure that I can feel that seam allowance facing towards the facing. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm getting threads from something onto there. And then we need to do the same on this side. It's going to be a challenge though, because I'm going to have it up there. All of this on this side in order for me to be able to sew it from the right direction, from the kind of centre back down. So I'm going to have to move my needle to the other side to keep my same stitch length. And then overlap where I started, and then just try my best to keep it flat, even though I've got all of it under there. I need to move that out the way. I want to accidentally sew the strap down to the facing, so make sure your first strap is out the way. But still that your seam allowance is facing towards the facing. Facing towards the facing. Voila! Dunny done done. So I'm now just going to press this, and then I'm going to try and do the bottom hem bit as well, and that will probably be where we'll get to. Chop that off. So. Oh, silly Billy's turned it right down. Silly Billy. And whilst it's doing that, I can get it at least prepared on the table, on the ironing board, ready for ironings. Get that strap over like that. Okay. I'm being careful that I'm only focusing on the edge. You might want to, with viscose jersey, sometimes the ironing does affect the pile, not the pile, it can leave a mark on viscose jersey, so you might want to use a cloth, but I'm just being gentle and only focusing on the edge does, it sort of flattens the fibres in the fabric and then makes them shiny. You'll know what I mean when you iron something and it goes shiny. It looks horrible. And you can't get, once you've sort of melted the fibres down, you can't really get rid of it. Sometimes when you wash it again it goes, but not always. Okay, just do this other side and then we can finish the hem. Voila! Okay, now hemmy hem time. So I'm going to take this and place it back on itself, in line though with the understitching, so that when we turn it in the right way round, we want that understitching to be on the right side of that fold line. It needs to be on the inside here. Just press it, pinning it like that, like the hem. This is the hem here. So do that on that side and also on the other side. Okay, and then we are going to stitch with a 4 centimetre seam allowance, which is going to be a tricky dicky because I've not got a 4 centimetre marker. Where's my ruler? I have my ruler. I'll just use this to sort of guide myself and find a point on the machine. So yeah, it's there. It's actually a little scratch on the machine at that point, so I'm just going to use that as a guide. You can always use masking tape for something like this, guys, to work out where your 4 centimetre mark is, and then you know, lay it, stick it down. Or if it's a seam allowance you would use regularly, you can always mark it on your base of your machine yourselves. Okay, that's that. I'm not stitching this with a stretchy stitch because the interface is going to prevent that from stretching at that point, so I'm just going to leave it as a straight stitch but with long stitch length. Get my ruler out again. A little bit of a ripple there with the seam allowance. Just lifted up the foot and tucked it back down again, and it's just fed it through a bit better. Voila! So now we can turny throughy. We would need to cut that off, but we're going to leave that for there. And what that's done is it's basically set the distance for the hem. We'll set it so it's all crisp and lovely at the front for there, and then the hem will just turn up in line with that 4 centimetres all the way around, like that. Okay? Let's try on. Let's try on and have a look-see. How's it looking? Oh. Oh, it's so lovely, this fabric. It's so lovely and soft. Rosie, we've got this fabric in other colours as well. Oh, it's just gorgeous. The thought of sleeping with this. Very, very nice. Now, I can do my tie, even though I've got no sleeves in yet. At least the tie's functioning. ties to the side, and obviously you don't have to do it like this. You could have it tied just to the side and not wrapped around your tummy if you don't want that around your waist. But yeah, there we go, guys. Well, I think we did very well since I went very slowly yesterday, but I hope you found that a fun sew along to watch, guys, and you learned something. So that is it for this week. We are back next week, and you've heard me say what the schedule is, so I won't repeat that and bore you. I keep forgetting to say, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a like, guys. It's really important for us to try and find newbies, and that helps them find us through YouTube. So do that if you can. I hope you all have lovely weekends, and I will be back on Tuesday at 1 o'clock then. And yeah, we'll also be getting these to the wonderful Layla, our seamstress, will be getting these to her so she can finish them off so that we can show you how they will look once they're finished. See you very soon, guys. Bye.